Hey guys, what's up? How are you doing? So I'm gonna do a video on our trip to Philippines. So I'm shooting this video in December. We went to Philippines in November 24th with a good group of people. So as part of Gene Coaching School, which I run, we run this school and we have different parts of it. It covers lots of stuff like health, finances, and everything else you might imagine. It's a life coaching school, basically, Gene Coaching School. Those of you who know me know that I run this school for now 5 years. So we also have the travel component of Gene Coaching School, and we went to Philippines together. We've gone to so many countries. We've gone to Egypt, Zanzibar, different places in Kenya. We've gone to which other countries? Malaysia, Singapore, Bali. We've gone to many countries together as a group. So this time we went to Philippines, and I just wanted to show you how fun it was, give you a bit of a breakdown, and also encourage you if you want to go to Philippines, what are you going to be doing in Philippines? What makes it an interesting destination? What do you want to do in there as well? Expenses, a bit of expenses overview in terms of what to expect, and just generally visiting Philippines. So I hope the video will be useful in kind of getting you out of your comfort zone. I always say traveling and money or finances is like related. So for me, it's one and the same thing. So it's like a hobby, something I love doing, it's a passion, but I still manage to do the financial stuff and still travel, right? You need to live your life. You need to live today. There's no rehearsal. This is the life you're living. So despite all the plans we make, financially speaking, and all the things I tell you as a finance coach, I also say, hey, if you want to travel or if you love it, and most people do, and I don't know anyone who doesn't want to travel, then you need to get out there and travel. It's as simple as that. Get out there and travel. And I don't try to tell you, hey, you don't need to postpone your life for you to meet your financial goals. So anyway, simply speaking, so this is going to be a very straightforward video. I'll show you pictures and b-rolls and videos that we took in different places. Sometimes I'm just lazy to take videos, to be honest, but going forward in the future, I'm going to take like loads of videos, and at some point I'm going to be traveling with someone to take videos, so I'll just pay for somebody. So get me someone who is willing to travel the world with me, shooting my videos and just following me with a camera. I think it's much easier that way, right? I just pay someone to do it for me. I'm just too lazy, or sometimes I get too into what I'm doing and having fun that I even forget to like take videos. I just find like it's another job altogether, right? Anyways, so the first thing, which I know most of you will be asking me, how do you get there? What about the visa and stuff? So especially if you're in Africa, you'll be wondering, because most of these Western countries can always access all these destinations. Philippines is in Asia, just your stamp. You get 30 days basically. It's a visa-free destination. Let me make it that simple. It's a visa-free destination. You get to the airport, you get a stamp on your visa that gives you 30 days. Okay? So no need for any application, and that's why we chose the destination. It reduces the amount of work we have to do as those who are organizing the trip. So yes, Philippines is visa-free, so you feel free to do your own research, check, all these things are online. If you want to be sure, you can always find that information. So yeah, you can travel as a Kenyan, you can travel, I don't know about other African countries, you need to check your own country. So I know some people watching might not be from Kenya, so you need to check which country, your country, and if you have visa-free to Philippines, okay? So that's the first thing, you can enter Philippines. Now that you can enter Philippines, what would attract you to Philippines? That's the next question, right? So you want to travel the world, you want to see the world, but I can tell you some of the most beautiful places in the world are actually not even in Europe, in the US, in Canada, in Australia. Even Australia is quite beautiful though. But a lot of beautiful places in the world that people are chasing, people are going out of their way to actually see and experience, are places in Africa and Asia majorly. So already you are blessed if you are in any of these continents. You are in Asia, you are in Africa, you are blessed in many ways. So you don't have to go too far to look for these things. You don't have to wait for a visa to Europe to one day travel the world. You don't have to wait for a visa to the US to say you've traveled the world. The things that people are seeking, the things that people want to see, and the weather that people are actually dreaming of and desiring and just planning their holidays around those weather, weather changes, is all in Africa and in Asia. So what attracts you to Philippines? Philippines is beautiful. Is one country that has like several islands to it. So I think Philippines has over 7,600 islands that you can actually visit, and they're all amazing, heavenly islands. So if you talk about island, I mean the blue beaches, clear waters, the island life. You know, the weather is good, it's quite warm. It's a beautiful country, generally speaking. So I'll talk about the experience in a few, but there are so many things that could interest you into Philippines, and of course, just the idea of traveling a new country, meeting different people, seeing a different culture, because these are Asians, seeing how they live their lives, how they interact with people, just seeing what is out there, what is outside your comfort zone, right? So I'll say the visa is visa free. What would attract you there? Like millions of stuff to attract you there. It's a beautiful country with 7,000 islands. If you have 7,000 islands, you can imagine how many times you can hop within different islands and just enjoy the country, you know? And that's something that you would love to do, right? You want to get out of your comfort zone and go and enjoy life out there. Just see what other countries are like. You know, what does a country that has 7,000 islands is like? You can move in between easily. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's basically a heaven on earth place. It's beautiful. Okay, so what are some of the things you could actually see in Philippines? So before we talk about expenses, which I know most people will be asking me, or most people would be interested in, what do you actually see based on a general experience perspective? So for our group, we had different places in mind. We went to different islands. So when you arrive in Philippines, you likely will arrive in Manila. Once you arrive in Manila, depending on what your plan is, you can stay in Manila and tour the city. Manila as a city has many places that you can see, many architectural buildings. You know, it's just basically a normal city, right? With its own kind of culture, its own kind of architecture. The food is amazing. It's a bustling city. If you want to go out and have fun, all those things that you can do within a city, yes, you want to do them. But for us and for me, I always go to a destination to enjoy the beaches. That's one thing that I love so much, and the culture of the people. So I go in not in the city. I go outside the city to just see what's happening on the ground. Really, that's what we say. So there's an island called Cebu, Cebu, an amazing place to go to. So what we did is we arrived in Manila. We stayed in Manila for one night, and then the next day we left for this island called Cebu, which is one of the most popular islands in Philippines. It's a beautiful island, big island as well. The culture there is quite, I would say, contained, quite different from other parts. But yes, we did a Cebu tour. So when we went to Cebu, it's also a city as well. It's an island, but also has a city there. I've forgotten the name of the city now, but within that city, we had a city tour. We went out dancing one of the nights. We went to different places within the city. There's a falls. So outside the city, there's a very popular falls called Kawasan Falls. We went to Oslo Falls as well. There are different falls. These are just ass-chasing falls. Beautiful, beautiful falls, set up in very nice, picturesque areas. And then we had private boat, hopping to a different island. We went to an island called Bohol, and then that was day 3. So the first, second, and third days, we just explored Cebu as an island. Yeah, different places, chasing different waterfalls, seeing different things, going out, eating out as well, of course, enjoying the food. Then after the third day, we went to a different island. Went to one called Mambahao or Camiguin. Mambahao is Mambajao, but they say Mambahao. It's a different island, beautiful as well, mountainous, with the sea set down below it, looking so amazing. We lived in a very nice place on the mountain called Volcano Houses. Amazing place. The owner is in the UK, so we kind of linked up before we even went there. It's an amazing setting at the foot of the mountain. Okay, you go on top of the mountain, then just right at the foot of the mountain is where the buildings are. It's really stunning and naturistic place. And then of course, when you want to go to the beach or to the islands, you go down the mountain, then you get to the beach. So there's the higher part and then the lower part, right? It's a beautiful place. The weather is amazing. At the time it was a bit rainy, but you know what, we still had fun. And funny enough, when you go up the mountain, it's a bit cold, but when you go down to the sea, it's awesome. The weather is awesome. So in this island, we were there for 2 days. We saw some other more falls, Kitabawasan Falls. We did some swimming there. We went to what we call the White Island, very beautiful, a small island right in between the ocean, not ocean but sea. It's a carved out island, very small. Nobody lives there. People just go there to visit. It's just like a carved out island. It's called the White Beach Island. Then we went to Wasan Falls, another falls as well. Then we had a trip the next day to a different island called Mantigua Island. Beautiful, stunning island on its own. Man, I don't know how many islands we went to, but there's so many, and they're so all beautiful, all blue waters, clear waters, um, really, 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 really picturesque. By the way, I show some pictures here, so I hope you get to see a bit of what we enjoyed. But sometimes camera cannot capture some of these moments. Then, of course, that was day 2, and then after that, we now went to, after all those island hopping, we went now to a different country, which is Bali. I'll do that in a different video. But basically, that's part of what we did in Philippines. But there are many things you can do in Philippines. There are many islands. You don't have to go to this particular island. I'm just giving you an example of what we did. But mainly waterfall chasing, beaches, eating food from different places, walking the cities from one place to another, island hopping, going back and forth to different islands from where we're living, and enjoying nature as well. So many things to do. Depends on what you want to do. In terms of expenses, going to Philippines is, I would say, a bit expensive because it's quite far, but not so expensive. So because I'm a finance person, so I'm being realistic here, we spent, because this was public information and we did share all these things on our Facebook pages, we spent around 400,000 per person. Some people would have spent more because I was coming from the UK, but people who came from Kenya spent around 400,000 for the whole trip. But that was covering Bali as well, so not just Philippines. Remember, we were out there for almost 14 days. So 14 days, thinking about it, 400,000 plus return flight is actually quite affordable because we had a deal with Qatar whereby we had like group tickets, so it was much cheaper. But normally, if you're just one person, I think the flight in itself is around $1,500, depending on the time, of course. But by the time we were traveling, it was peak time. So if people were to book on their own, it would be $1,500. But remember, we had a group deal, so it was way cheaper than that. I think around 900 or something like that. But yeah, it was way cheaper. But that's if you have a group. So most of the time you want to travel alone or you just a few people. So I gave you the 400,000 covers everything. It covers your flight, covers your accommodation, covers your internal flights as well, because then you have to move from one island to another. Philippines is an expansive country. It's a big, not expensive, but expansive. It's a big country with, different islands all over the place. So you could take a flight from one place that goes to another place, takes an hour. So all these internal flights, all these boats to different islands, food, accommodation, 400,000 is actually pretty affordable, and I would say reasonable. Let me say that. It's reasonable to spend for that duration and for everything that you do and for the kind of life that we live. We don't live on like a ratchet place. We live in really amazing mansionettes and bungalows in those countries. So soft life, yeah, I'm the soft life ambassador. So anyway, that's it with regards to Philippines. I don't know if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll try to answer them. General experience, amazing. The people are awesome. Any destination, you want to make sure that the people are welcoming. I've never gone to any country that is so welcoming. I've never gone to any country that the people are so happy to welcome foreigners. And remember, I was just 1 month traveling with 13 women. So that's crazy, right? 1 month, 13 women. And one thing is that they said most of them knew that these are my wives. So everywhere we went to, we became very famous in this country. People take pictures of us because we dress well. We represent Africa. We represent Kenya. We dress culturally. It's a good experience. We don't just travel for the sake of traveling. It's a life coaching traveling. But you know what? 1 month, 13 wives. You can imagine working with my wives all over the country. It was an amazing experience and something that probably I've never experienced before, but everyone was looking at me in awe. The men are like, yeah, this is what we want, right? This is what we want. But it was a good experience. The people are really happy. The people are happy. They are helpful. And the food as well. The serving portions are really tiny. So if you are someone like me, an African man who needs proper food, the rice is like this size. It's like they're serving a child, really. So what you need to do is order like 3-4 plates for you to be full. The chicken is good. Mainly they eat rice and chicken. So rice is the main thing there. And they eat a lot of pork as well. I don't eat pork, but they eat so much. There's so much pork. So if you like pork, you're in a good place. You are in your zone. So that's with regards to food. You will find food everywhere. Food is quite cheap. Now let me talk about expenses. Food is really cheap. You can even find food for like, I don't know, $1. $1 would be proper meal. $2 proper meal, right? If you have $10 there, you are eating like a king. You're eating like a king. So food is cheap. Transport is average, I would say. Not so cheap, but not so expensive as well. It's just average. But if you spending like, I would say $5, you take a taxi. $3 can take a taxi to a very short destination. Just an average of $10 will easily move you from one place to another in a taxi. Internal flights are affordable as well, just around $50 to $100, depending, of course, if you have luggage, depending on the destination, the distances, which airline, how far back you book, many factors around airline, really. So, but you can always book internal flights. Generally, the experience was good. So I've covered visa, I've covered what would take you to Philippines, I've covered the expenses, I've covered accommodation. Accommodation standards are okay, I would say. Yeah, but it's a developing country, so don't expect, I don't know, don't expect some crazy stuff. But I think I must say they do try to keep their standards quite good. After traveling the world extensively, you never know what someone's experience is somewhere else. So yeah, my experience could be very different, and my expectation and standards could be very different from what someone else's standards are. But I would say good. Yeah, I didn't have any issues. The issues I had were minor. I've spoken about the things you can see as well in different islands and internal flights. So what else? Ask me any questions in the comment section below. And that is our video for Philippines. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know. We have lots of trips coming up again under GC in 2024. We have a Turkana trip. We have another trip to a Euro trip, winter Euro trip, just within European countries, within the Schengen area, European countries. Then we have a UK trip in July. Then we have an intercontinental trip, which is across Africa, 8 countries in 14 days. That is coming up in October. So yeah, 2024 already packed and full. Let me know what you think. If you want to join any of our trips, please let me know in the comment section below, and then I'll give you more information. Until next time, guys, I'm out.